Wait a minute. Holy moly, guacamole. You're telling me that they won't be no Canelo Alvarez versus Terence Crawford this September? As Canelo Alvarez, the 4th Division World Champion, super middleweight undisputed, King Nello, a.k.a. Cartelo, a.k.a. Cash Nello, a.k.a. Payday, a.k.a. Get the F out of here, man. Stated in this recent interview that there is no fight after the William Scull fight. Take a good listen to what Canelo Álvarez had to say.
The Crawford fight, everyone is talking about that.
You know, like I say, I don't have other fight in the future. I
don't have other fight in the future.
I don't have other fight in the future. I just had my fight with William Scull, and that's it. Just had my fight with William Scull, and that's it.
And that's it.
I focus 100% on that fight.
My Lord. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if y'all been following the channel, Punch Wrong Boxing, a.k.a. Mr. Moo, shout himself. Y'all know I'm not a big fan of the Canelo Alvarez versus Terence Crawford. I think it's an ultimate mismatch. You know what I'm saying? I think it's just hype. I think it's just a turkey out shake fantasy fight of his. And you already know that turkey out shake is the Banco Popular of boxing. The money made turkey out shake, aka ATM, aka Chase, aka Wells Fargo, aka you know what I'm saying, all the bank in the damn world, right? If whatever he wants, he will pay. I don't want to see Canelo versus Bud Crawford. I don't give a fuck what you think. Punch Drunk Boxing. Do you have the money that I have, motherfucker? You broke bitch. But anyway. Maybe the statement, maybe I'm putting too much into the statement. Maybe is that we all know that Canelo Alvarez, that English is his second language, and you already know that Canelo Alvarez has done a wonderful job and very comfortable in speaking English as of late. You already know, aka Garden. And maybe what he was trying to say in other words, and probably couldn't find the proper words. I'm just saying, maybe he was trying to say that he's not thinking about no opponent past William Scull. But the word that he chose was literally indicating that there is nothing after this fight. And, you know, in the sport of boxing, it's tough to have two contracts signed. You know what I'm saying? There is some, you know, things within the contract that, of course, Canelo Álvarez will have to beat William Scull. I think that Canelo Álvarez have agreed on terms. I'm not sure they've been agreed on the fight, on actual contracted to fight Canelo Alvarez. I mean, contracted to fight Terence Crawford. We heard that before, right? We were supposed to have Deontay Wilder versus Anthony Joshua, but first Deontay Wilder had to beat Parker, and Anthony Joshua had to beat Ottawa Lean. So that fight didn't happen, but it was supposed to be they signed the contract for that March. What was it? March 2024, March 2023. Remember? I think it was March 2024, I believe so. I think, or 2023. That didn't come to fruition, right? That didn't come to fruition. But it was supposed to be signed, right? Almost like the Triple G trilogy when Canelo Alvarez signed with Matchroom, right? And it was a 3-fight deal. But he had a rematch clause with Dimitri Bivol. He just didn't activate it. So he was not going to be fighting Triple G if he would have activated the rematch clause. So at the end of the day, this is the sport of boxing. There are terms that are agreed, but at the end of the day, there's still wiggle room to change, to pivot out to another fight. And look, like I said before, if y'all been following the channel in the recent days, I said that a Canelo Alvarez versus Chris Eubank Junior out there with Wembley Stadium is something that I believe that Canelo Alvarez wants to experience. And I think that momentum right now is probably as interesting, or maybe more interesting, or just as lucrative as a Terence Crawford versus Canelo Alvarez. I believe it's just as lucrative because at the end of the day, the UK fans, they support their boxing like nobody else. You feel me? $65,000 to watch Chris Eubank Jr. and Conor Ben. Can you imagine Canelo Alvarez versus Chris Eubank Jr. and the momentum that Chris Eubank Jr. has right now, in which he is now the face of British boxing as we speak at the moment? You know, of course, Alexander Usyk going to be facing Danny Dubois. Danny Dubois beats Alexander Usyk, then we're looking at the king of British boxing. But right now, the face of British boxing is Chris Eubank Jr. Canelo Alvarez will be a good fight. Both of these guys are now 168 pounders, and we don't have to worry about anybody being smaller or things of that nature like we were worried about the Conor Ben and Chris Eubank Jr., like Terence Crawford and and Canelo Alvarez, in which I believe that's a total mismatch. And I think that Canelo Alvarez is going to whoop Bud Crawford from pillar to post if he actually commit, if he actually approach the fight like people think that he won't approach the fight like Jermell Charlo, and he's just going to go guns blazing and go toe-to-toe with Canelo Alvarez. He's going to get his ass whooped, right? Canelo Álvarez is going to beat him into the point that he's going to make Bud Crawford speak Spanish. He's going to beat him to the white meat. You feel me? So is Canelo Álvarez have his options open? If Canelo Álvarez could be like, you know what, I want to face David Benavidez, Turkey Al Sheikh, you know what? Let me get that fight and let me get all the money they was trying to give me with Bud Crawford and some. I think that the options is open, and Canelo Alvarez works that way. Just let's not forget when he signed that deal with PBC. We thought he was gonna get David Benavidez. We thought he was gonna get Jermall Charlo. You know what I'm saying? People thought Demise Andre, because he was working with PBC as well at the time that he signed the deal. And guess what? We didn't get none of the fights that we thought we was going to get, right? We got Jermell Charlo and Canelo Alvarez. We got Jaime Munguia and Canelo Alvarez outside of the PBC. And we got Edgar Berlanga outside of the PBC. We didn't think those fights was going to happen under the PBC umbrella. So we don't know when people say, oh, it's contractual to fight and these are the names and stuff like that. We don't know. In the sport of boxing, we never know. It took 3 years to get Chris Eubank Junior and Conor Ben. You know what I'm saying? It's taken forever to us to get Anthony Joshua versus Terry. Remember they said that Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury, they finalized their deal? And then the next day, they announced the trilogy with Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury. So we never know in the sport of boxing. I think that terms are agreed upon, but ain't nothing concrete with Bud Crawford and Canelo Alvarez. Just like there was nothing concrete when everybody signed with Canelo Alvarez and Jake Paul. Remember? So let me know what y'all think, man. Boxing contracts is weird in itself. Is a whole different entity in any other business in sports. Well, let me know what y'all think. Do y'all still think that Canelo Álvarez is going to be facing Bud Crawford? To be honest, I would rather see Canelo Álvarez versus David Benavidez as a main event, and in the co-main Bud Crawford versus Virgil Ortiz. I think that will create a beautiful event. Even if I say Canelo Álvarez versus Chris Eubank Junior and Conor Ben versus Virgil Ortiz, or Conor Ben versus Bud, but that will be amazing, right? Conor Ben versus Virgil Ortiz, Chris Eubank Jr. versus Canelo Álvarez out there in Wembley. Wow. Let me know what y'all think, man. This is Punch Drunk Boxing, aka Mr. Moonshine himself. Y'all already know Times Square. May 2nd, we got Teofimo Lopez, Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia. Hopefully all of them get the fight so we can move over to a potential October rematch with Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia, and a Boots Ennis versus Teofimo Lopez. Let me know what y'all think about that as well in the chat or in the comment section. Y'all already know this is Punch Drunk Boxing, aka Mr. Moonshine himself. Subscribe to the channel, smash the like button. Love you, God bless, and on to the next.